Hi, my name is Laurel. I'm a 31-year-old conscious artist, author, and soul-led entrepreneur based in England. I chose to spend a week at Finca Sanuela for a new experience, an opportunity to connect deeper with myself and to be around like-minded souls. So I've spent a week here at Finca Sanuela, and I would love to share with you how this went with my journey, from why I chose to experience it and also what it feels like in the aftermath of it too. I journaled beforehand, and what I was journaling about was around just my desire to connect deeper with myself, to hear my inner voice, because I had spent so much time just with so much noise coming in from different directions. And this noise, it's other people's experiences just with their lives, it's also on social media, and it's also just the instances where even my own just past selves have been here and have been so loud, and it was starting to cloud my judgment of my own life and my choices moving forward. I was feeling really confused. I was feeling just like in this fog that I wasn't able to lift. And so one of the major things, and the reason why I even chose to come here in the first place, and what I've been experiencing, what I've been enjoying with the week that I've been here, is that I was starting to experience so much burnout. I was living in England, and on one hand in a town and then in a city very briefly, but through all of that I was starting to burn out because I was spending a lot of my time just working, and beyond this, it's the constant traffic noise, it's the constant just the busy hustle energy that I was around, and it was starting to affect me. And so coming here where I am surrounded by just nature and so much just silence, it's really peaceful. It has already been changing just where I was initially up to where I am today. And so when I first got here, I didn't realize just how disconnected from my own body I had been. But I had been, I had been living just in this not quite autopilot, just more around just busy and not really noticing as much, even just my own breath or hearing my own heartbeat or just what it feels like to have both feet on the ground, because I was constantly just experiencing I am here, but also a part of me is already planning the next thing. And so I do feel like this is something that is really encouraged, just in modern society. We're encouraged to see this as something to be aspiring towards, to see this as something to be working towards, especially when we're ambitious as well. We're encouraged to see our ambition as something to be so married to that we miss the instances where actually our bodies are needing a lot more attention than we are just realizing, where actually we do need to have that space to just say, okay, there is just no more outside noise for a minute. I'm just sitting with myself and I'm seeing what comes out. Because when we're in that busy mode, we miss just how much of ourselves we are no longer connecting to. We miss just how much of our own truths are now being suppressed because we are so busy doing, and it feels good. We know that we are accomplishing our goals. We know that we are accomplishing so much of what we have, whatever we're dreaming towards, whatever we're working towards. But through it all, if we get so busy and we start to get disconnected from ourselves, then what happens next? We now start to lose touch with even the why that we're doing it in the first place, but also we no longer really enjoy what it is that we're doing too. And so my journey as an artist especially, I had spent so much time in just the creating mode, in that doing mode, and I was starting to just no longer be so fully present with my own body, to be so fully present enough to hear what's underneath my doing, to hear what's underneath my creating. And so since being here, my intention has been to slow down. It has been to slow down. It has been to connect deeper with my body through also changing my habits. And so being here, I have enjoyed a raw food diet. And this diet is pretty much it's all natural. All of these things, we don't realize how much they affect our well-being, but they really do. And they really do, because since being here, I have started to notice a huge difference in just how I am starting to relate to my body once again. I'm starting to feel the kind of clarity that otherwise, honestly, the processed foods that we're eating, they can be blocking so much of just our own connections to ourselves. And so we feel foggy, we feel confused, we feel drained. And it's because like, yeah, what are we eating? What are we feeding our bodies? And beyond that, are we taking the time to turn everything off? Are we putting our phones away? And so because of that, yeah, I've chosen to spend this time especially just connecting deeper to myself and to nature. And now I'm starting to feel the difference. So from when I first got here, my energy and just my own just sense of self felt so scattered, reflecting the environments that I had been in prior. And since being here, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting closer and closer to myself. And in doing so, my decision making is starting to shift to reflect that too. So when we are feeling scattered, we struggle to make decisions because there is so much influencing, there's so many options, there's so much paths that we feel like we can be taking. But through all of those paths, there is only one path that is for us to be experiencing from wherever we are. And so when we start to say, okay, now we're choosing to ground, we're choosing to connect with ourselves, the path that is actually for us from where we are today, it starts to open up, it gets clearer. It's not so overshadowed by the many energies, the social media, like just I guess lives that we're seeing. It becomes our own journey within ourselves, where we say, okay, what actually is going to work for me at this particular stage, at this particular point. And so it starts to make decision making easier, because now you know which self are you making those decisions for. And so when we're living like that, so for instance, when I was living in England, because my diet was starting to like actually reflect just my doing, creating lifestyle at that time, I wasn't connecting deeper with just my own intuition, with my own gut, with my own voice. But when we start to take away, so like take away the processed foods, even for a week, you take it away, you start to get so much lighter within yourself. And as you do so, yeah, you start to, your path gets clearer in a different kind of way now. Meaning that your path becomes much more about who you're choosing to be, not who you've been automatically acting as, not who you've been automatically showing up as based on the environment that you've been in. And so to take this week to say, okay, you know what, like, yeah, I'm going to take this time to say, what if I changed my habits? What if I changed my routine? What if I chose to spend some time just saying, okay, what do I really need? And to do that, it includes the kind of practices that that you can experience here, which includes meditations and also changing how you eat. So I've been using my hands to eat, and all of this is creating a deeper connection with our bodies, because if we are in that doing energy, we can so easily fall into, we are eating but we're not really connecting to what we're eating. It becomes mindless eating. We're eating but we are watching something, we're thinking about something else, and so we're no longer really connected to just the experience of the body picking the food on the plate and putting it in our mouths. And so all of these things, when you start to embrace them, when you allow the experience to transform you and to shift you, it becomes such a beautiful way of just uplifting the otherwise fog that we end up falling into. And so with the darkroom experience, I went in there and I had spent a lot of just time, quite frankly, with so many thoughts, and these thoughts were mostly coming from the selves that I had been, they were coming from the lives that I have lived, they were coming from the environments that I had been in. And so these thoughts were still so loud, they were still trying to dictate how my day goes. They were still trying to dictate just so much of my perspective as well, because these thoughts were reflecting just for so long, where I had been. And so to go into the dark room and to just be there with nothing but just yourself, like even if you open your eyes, it's just dark. There's just nothing there but yourself. It gave me the opportunity to start to observe the mind firstly, which is really, really important. To observe the mind and then to decide what's actually the truth for me to be listening to. What's actually the path for me to be considering as the one for me moving forward. How do I use this experience now to shift how I am showing up tomorrow, how I am showing up for the life that I'm choosing to be creating. And so I went in there with an uncertainty around just the path to take moving forward, because I had so much but I could do it like this person, I could do it like this person. But just from being there and just sitting in the dark, I started to experience the instances where I was connecting with my own path. I was now connecting with my own path, and I was starting to see what's actually my own path and what I need to do next. because my own path is reflecting my own unique journey here. It's reflecting my own individual experience here. And so because of this, sitting there, I was able to just tune out all the otherwise, just the noise, all the otherwise distractions. I was able to tune out all the other thoughts that can come in, which are about, the work that we're doing, into who are you really? Who are you really? And who you are today has been influenced by who you've been yesterday. And have I completed what I've needed to complete from yesterday? And it's not about my to-do list, it's just within my own journey, within myself. And so just being in there, I started to reflect on my relationships. I was now starting to see the instances where I actually know, there's certain aspects of my relationships that do need me to shift and focus on them in a different kind of way. And so being in there, it's okay. I went in there with a completely different perspective of certain relationships, and then I come out of it, and now I am seeing it in a different way. Now I'm saying, oh, right, okay. Actually, there is certain aspects of this relationship that I just wasn't taking full responsibility and accountability for in how I'm showing up. And now I know that as I move forward, I'm moving forward with this particular relationship in a way that's reflecting what I have met within myself. And so what does this create moving forward, and what's my desire? It creates much more harmonious relationships all around, because it's now reflecting the harmony within me that is now emerging from choosing to spend some time saying, okay, let me clear away everything else that's otherwise been this external chorus that is coming to me through the expectations that I have had for myself based on the previous environments I've been in, and also just what I see other people doing all the time. And now it's okay, now I'm choosing to move forward in a way that's reflecting that I have spent the time with myself, and I have allowed myself to be honest and say, you know what, maybe there are things that I can do better in how this relationship moves forward. And now I choose to move forward from this experience with the intention to let the relationships in my life start to reflect that too. So when it comes to the choice to spend the time just with yourself, to invest your energy in saying, hey, I am worthy of just being, I'm worthy of getting to know myself better. I am worthy of choosing to spend, whether it's a week, just accepting that something has needed to change within me, and now I'm choosing to let that be something that I do change. You are changing your life in such beautiful and incredible ways. You won't even realize this when you're first entering into this kind of experience, but as you leave, you start to see just what it has been doing within you through how you are now moving forward in a way that is reflecting the kind of just thoughts and the kind of self that could not have emerged without you first saying, hey, you know what if I chose to have this kind of experiences, this kind of practices that are rooted in connecting deeper with myself. And so when we can so easily get so lost in just we can get so easily lost in the hustling, we can get so easily lost in the day-to-day that we miss that actually, are we still showing up in a way that is actually reflective of how we all desire to feel joy? We all desire to feel happy, because if we're no longer experiencing any of those things, then we do have the right to say, hey, what needs to change? And sometimes what needs to change can only emerge when you allow yourself to take the time to just sit with you, to take the time to engage in the kind of practices that are rooted in assisting you with slowing down what has otherwise been your autopilot and regular just habits and routines, and instead you allow yourself to receive new energy that assists you in your own journey with connecting deeper with yourself. And so when it comes to my experience here, I can honestly say that it has really been a life-changing experience, in that now I know that as I move forward, I am not moving forward as the same kind of person that I was when I first got here, because I have allowed not only just Finca Sanuela to be part of the experience of transforming me, but also just allowing myself to connect deeper once again with Mama Nature, to connect deeper once again with the remembrance that, my goodness, we can get so caught up in our own worlds, we can get so caught up in the day-to-day that we miss the opportunity to just look out and see the stars, to just look out and see the beautiful, beautiful ocean, to just look out and just and see so much beauty all around us, just all those unfolding in such beautiful, wonderful ways. And it's up to us to pause and to slow down and to connect with ourselves through connecting with our environment too. And so I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you.